Boom. We in the mix. All right, guys, welcome to the call, man. Listen, the shout outs are actually my favorite part of the call. Yeah, all the trainings and stuff is cool, but I really love hearing everybody else's success and the things that you guys are doing. I think it's phenomenal. I know that the chat box is kind of crazy. So if you ever have a shout out and you just don't want to fight in the chat box like everybody else fights in the chat box every week, please send me a Telegram message, a text message, an Instagram message. Send me a message, smoke signal, whatever. Let me know that you got somebody that you want to shout out so I can make sure that, you don't have to continuously fight through all the chaos in the chat box, guys. But I'm super excited, as I am each and every single Monday, because it's another Monday where I've been giving things that I can give you guys to help all of our businesses go to the next level. And essentially, that's what we want. We want our trading to go to the next level. We want our business to go to the next level. We want our finances to go to the next level. Everybody wants a level up in their life. But I believe that before level up happens, there's going to be some type of challenge. And that's what this call is going to be about tonight. Because yes, what we're on right now is a supernatural wave. And we have this crazy faith and we're building, we're showing a plan, we're trading, people are making withdrawals, and everything is all good. But that doesn't mean that challenges will not arise. Here's the deal. You got three type of people. You have the person that's in a challenge right now. You have the person that's coming out of a challenge, and you have the person that is walking into a challenge, right? You're in one of those categories. It's never going to be a place in life where there are no challenges, because the reason why there's always going to be challenges, because there's something that you always have to be doing on this earth. There's a purpose that's on the inside of you, whether it's building a business, trading, something you're going to do in philanthropy, something that you're going to do with charity, something that you're going to do with your family, kids. Like, it doesn't matter. There's a reason why you're still here. So your presence on this planet has a purpose. Knowing that, there's always going to be challenges to fight the purpose on the inside of you, to fight the thing that you're called to do, to fight the thing that you're supposed to be doing. And if you don't know how to overcome those challenges, you can actually succumb to those challenges and nothing ever happens. You never get to the level of success that you want to, because of the pressure, the challenges, the things that you were going through, because you didn't know that they were coming, or you weren't just aware that they were coming, or you didn't know how to get through them when they came, right? And I couldn't help but think about, man, the topic of discussion for the past few weeks or so, which is Michael Jordan. A lot of you guys know I've been following this documentary, like I'm sure a lot of you guys have as well. And last night on episode 9, they covered the flu game. And for those that don't know, the flu game was a game where Michael Jordan played with what we thought was the flu, but it turned out to be food poisoning. And he played one of the greatest games of his career. He played one of the greatest games of his career in the midst of challenges, right? In the midst of challenges, he went out there and put up 38 points. 38 points. There are people in the NBA that have never put up 38 points ever in a game, right? He did that with the flu. There were players on the other team who went close to 38 points on the opposing team, but he still was able to get that done. And he balled out, led his team to a championship and all that kind of cool stuff. But here's the deal. After the game, this is what was so dope to me. After the game, they interviewed the coach from the other team, and they asked the coach something about Michael Jordan's illness and his sickness and things of that sort. And the coach said, I must be the last person to know that he was sick. And when he said that, you can ask my wife, I was just floored. I'm like, wow. Because so many people, when you're going through something, the opposing team knows you're going through something. When you're going through a challenge, people in your organization know you're going through a challenge. You want to know why? Because you look like what you're going through. And here's a secret. You never want to wear your problems. You always want to wear the promise. Michael Jordan was wearing the promise. He wasn't wearing the food poisoning. He wasn't wearing the flu, any of that. He was wearing the promise, because before that game, he had already said that they were going to win the championship. So that was his promise. That was his truth. And he couldn't let anything, any external force, stop him from getting there, because his truth was 6 championships. That's what his truth was. And the food poisoning was a challenge in the middle of the truth that he wanted to see come to pass, right? And so when I went a little deeper and looked up the definition for challenge, man, I was again blown away because I saw something else that made me just say, wow, it's crazy how all this stuff is just intertwined and connected like that. If you look at the word challenge, the definition of it, one of the definitions says that a challenge is to dispute the truth or validity of something. A challenge is there to dispute the truth or the validity of something. What was Michael Jordan's truth? Michael Jordan's truth was, listen, I'm about to win 6 championships. This is my last game, my last time playing with the Bulls. I'm going out with a win. There's nothing that can stop me from getting there. Challenge to dispute the truth. The sickness came to dispute what he had already called truth. The validity of that championship was in limbo with the sickness. Before the game, they had no clue if he was going to play. They were actually nervous, like, man, is Mike going to play? Is Mike going to get out there on the court with us and ball out? And guess what? Mike started the game bad. He started the game bad. I'm sure in the midst of him starting that game, he had to be dealing with the idea of like, man, I have what I believe is the flu or food poisoning. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I've never played this week in my life before. We just came off of like game 4 and here we are in game 3 and here we are in game 4. And I'm sick. And he started off the game missing. But at some point throughout the game, the announcer said, man, Michael Jordan has went to a place and he's turned on the switch and there's no turning it back off. You have to go to that place when you're going through challenges. When there's things that's not going right in your business, when there's things that's not going right in your life, there's a place that you got to go to, turn on the switch and do away with every single challenge. Do away with the problem and don't put your focus on the problem. Don't put your focus on the challenge, right? This is what you do. When a challenge comes, right, the first thing that you got to do is assess the challenge. This is the first thing. And in this particular business, a lot of challenges come from people. Most of the challenges that you're going to have in this business, they come from people. So what you have to do is assess the challenge. What type of challenge am I dealing with? What's the root of this challenge? Can this challenge be solved? You're analyzing the whole entire situation. You're not reacting, you're responding. And most people react to a challenge and not respond to a challenge. When I react to a challenge, I automatically say the first thing that comes out of my mouth. I text the first thing that comes to my mind. I post the first thing on Instagram that comes to my mind relating to the situation. And I'm just going to, whatever the case may be, that's what I do when I'm reacting. But when I'm responding, I take a step back, analyze the situation and say, how can I use this to my benefit so that I can get better? Because a lot of times what we do is we point the finger at the challenge. We point the finger at the situation. We point the finger at the person, but we don't realize that there's 3 fingers pointing right back us to say, listen, that it may be something wrong with this situation here. There may be something wrong with this person here, but there's also something going on with you as well that you can identify, that you can work on. That's how you assess a challenge. Because here's the deal about challenges. If you look at the word challenge, right, David taught me this, and you take away the middle letters, what you have is change. You break challenge down, you take the middle letters away, what you have is change. So every challenge comes to you to change something on the inside of you or change something that's happening around you. That's what challenges come for. Challenges don't come necessarily to take you out. And when you're building this business, you got to know that you're going to have challenges with the back office. You're going to have challenges trying to hit a rank. You're going to have challenges trying to do events. You're going to have challenges trying to get the leaders to just do things together. You're going to have challenges doing all this stuff. It's a part of the game. That's why many are called, but few are chosen. Everybody's not ready to be in a position of extreme leadership because everybody doesn't know how to get through the challenges. Everybody doesn't know how to have a pleasing personality in the midst of all the BS. Everybody doesn't know how to keep playing the game even though I'm sick. Everybody doesn't know how to do that. But for the ones that do, they're the ones that win the championships, just like Michael Jordan. See, Michael Jordan had so many challenges outside of just a sickness. Michael Jordan had challenges with the front office, not the back office, the front office, the general managers, the people trying to break up the organization. He had to play through the challenge of the general manager trying to kick him off of the team, trying to get rid of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, listen, I don't want you, even though you won us 5 rings, even though you and Dennis, Scottie Pippen have won us 5 rings so far, even though you're the greatest player to play the game of basketball, me, the general manager, I don't want you in the organization no more, but I'm going to let you play here for the last year. Do you not think that's a challenge? But he didn't allow his focus to be there. He allowed his focus on going out the right way. That's what he did. And I was also listening, and one of the reporters said that Michael Jordan never allowed things that he could not control to get into his head. You want to write that down. Michael Jordan never allowed things that he could not control to get into his head. You know what I can't control? I can't control what the back office numbers do. I can't control that. I can't control what other people do, out of my control. I can't control who gets on the call, out of my control. I can't control who signs up. You know what else I can't control? I can't control who opens my DM. I can't control what trade goes in my favor. I have no control over any of that. Michael Jordan was so great because he never allowed outside pressures, things that he could not control, to get inside of his head. You know what else Michael Jordan couldn't control? Michael Jordan could not control if the basketball went in the hoop or outside or out of bounds. He couldn't control if the shot actually went in or if the shot somehow hit the backboard and went to the opposing team. He couldn't control that. All he had to do is take the shot. Michael Jordan said, why would I fear a shot that I have not taken yet? And so many people do that. They're in fear over something that they have not done yet. I'm scared to show the plan, but you haven't done it yet. I'm scared to launch my business, but you haven't done it yet. I'm scared to place my first trade. Why are you scared if you haven't done it yet? But you know why most people live in fear? Because they project the past into their future. Because there's been so many other basketball players who took the game-winning shot and they missed it. And when the next opportunity came around to take the game-winning shot, they folded because they had the memory of what happened the last time we took the shot. They had the memory of what happened the last time I showed the plan. They had the memory of what happened the last time I tried to place a trade and I blew my account. But Michael, he never allowed, number one, things that he couldn't control to get into his head, but also he didn't live in fear by projecting the missed shots of the past into the future. He didn't project the missed opportunities, the missed trades, the miss whatever into the future. He was present in the current, and he was present in his current reality, but he was always focused on changing what happened in the future based on what he was doing today. So that's where you have to be at. You can't change what happens in the future. You can't change what happens in the past. The only way that you can have a part of what happens in the future is how you live in the present. And the successful people, the one who makes the 6 figures, the 7 figures, they give away money. They have the lasting impact. They are the ones who can live intentionally, live intensely in the present reality, but our focus is on the future. Our focus is on where we're going. For the past week or so, I've been finding myself studying billionaires. That's all I've been doing. And one of the billionaires who I've ran across in my study was the person who's projected to be a trillionaire, Jeff Bezos. That's why I think it's so perfect timing that Future made a song called Trillionaire, because now we're living in the generation where we're about to watch somebody become a trillionaire in Jeff Bezos. But one thing that I took away from studying Jeff Bezos was the fact that he never like put his focus on the current reality. In 1996, when Jeff Bezos started his Amazon company and he began to sell books, people thought that he was only going to sell books. He never said that. That was never in his thinking. His thinking was always becoming a global force on the internet. That's what his focus was. His focus was, how can I sell everything on the internet? But right now, I'm going to start with books. Right now, they don't have the technology to do what it is that I want to do. That technology has not been created yet, but I know that it will. I know that the internet will be the wave of the future. So I'm going to start preparing now. I'm going to start with the book company. Then it's going to lead to audiobooks. Then it's going to lead to other stuff. Then it's going to lead to a Alexa. Then it's going to lead to a Ring. Then it's going to lead to me doing cloud services for all the secure networks or secure companies that need security over the world. Amazon does a security cloud service for Nike, Starbucks, Hilton Hotels. I can go on, whatever major company that you name, Amazon, they provide servers for security for those companies. But this is the same Amazon that started in 1996 as a bookstore. The gentleman always had long-term vision. He was never here. He was here, but he was never here. Mentally, he was 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. And that's how you have to be when challenges come towards you. When situations come towards you, you should look at the situation and kind of laugh, because mentally you're in another place. Mentally, you know where you are in your mind. This challenge doesn't even exist. What I'm going through right now, it doesn't exist, because this does not compare to what the future looks like. This is just a blip on the radar. It's just a blip on the radar. So the first thing I got to do when challenges come, number one, I got to assess the challenge. I got to figure out, okay, what can I take away from this challenge? Where did this challenge even come from? Did this challenge come from God, or did this challenge come from the enemy? That's deep. That's deep. Did the challenge come from God, or did the challenge come from the enemy? And you will know as you start having these challenges as they begin to come. But you got to ask yourself those questions. Where did the challenge come from? What can I do to get better from this particular challenge? Because again, you're either about to have a challenge, you're in a challenge right now, or a challenge is waiting for you around the corner. And you have to be prepared. You have to know that it's not going to be all good. It's not going to always look supernatural. You're not always going to hear the thing. It's not always going to feel. But you still have to trust. You still have to trust. Because even when you think the supernatural is not present, the supernatural is still present. I ran across something here recently and it just blew me away. In the Bible, there's a book called Esther. There's a book called Esther in the Bible. Esther is the only book in the Bible where the name of God is not mentioned. It's the only book in the Bible. What does that mean? Just because his name isn't mentioned doesn't mean he isn't present. So just because you don't see the supernatural or feel the supernatural doesn't mean that supernatural isn't hovering right over you. Just because you may think you're going through this challenge alone, you're in this fight by yourself. No, there's a supernatural power right there with you. That's why you have to assess every single challenge that you go through and then decide what change is going to happen in your life because of the challenge. Like, what am I going to do better? Because again, no challenge ever comes to not show you something about you. Listen to me. Every challenge that you have dealing with people, dealing with a situation, dealing with business, is going to show you something about you. That's what it's for. See, it's not just, oh, this person made me mad. It's not just, oh, the back office is tweaking on me. No, there's something that you need to work on. And I had to figure this out through me dealing with so many challenges. Like, don't see, we think God is only focused on us. We think God doesn't care about everybody else. We think that God doesn't use us, right? He doesn't use us to help somebody else get through their BS. We think that God doesn't use other people to reveal stuff about us. We think it's just about that person. We think it's just about that situation. We just think it's the back office. No, it may be you. It may be you. And you won't know that until you begin to assess the challenge and figure out, okay, what can I learn from this? What can I take away from this? What can I get from this? How can I get better from this situation? How can I make sure that this challenge doesn't happen again? Because when you're dealing with people, the challenges are going to continue repeatedly. There's just going to be a new face on the challenge. And you have to have the leadership composure, leadership capacity, and the leadership depth to be able to help this whole situation so it does not look like the first time you went through it. Anytime you go through something and it looks exactly like it was the first time you went through it, that means you did not learn something from the first time. We are supposed to live our life in seasons and not cycles. But what happens to people, they end up not learning what they were supposed to learn, and their life becomes a cycle, and they keep repeating the same activity, the same behavior, the same challenges, the same situation, the same bank account, the same investments, the same thing over and over and over, because we have not learned something from the first experience. That's why every time you go through something, you have to look at the situation and say, okay, what can I do to get better? Because it's not the market, it's you. It's not the back office, it's you. It's not your organization, it's you. It's not your upline, your coach, your mentor, it's you. And this is stuff that I had to deal with, that I personally went through. That's why I can speak on it. You got to understand that it's never just the external force. There's something dealing with you that you have to see. That has to be revealed to you. So I got to assess the challenge, and I got to decide what area I'm going to change in, what area am I going to get better in. So you know who else had a challenge? The disciples had a challenge, right? They were in the boat out in the middle of the lake, and Jesus was asleep in the boat. A storm came. Waves are breaking in the boat. And they go to Jesus and say, yo, bro, wake up. Do you not see what we're going through? Do you not see the challenge? Do you not see what the back office is doing? Do you not see the people that are leaving my organization? Do you not see this bickering that's going on in the organization? Do you not see what's happening? Wake up. Because that's how we are. Think about it. Like, personalized, that's how we are. We're going through like, yo, bro, where are you? And that's how they were. And then when he got up, he rebuked the waves. And you know what he told them? He said, you still have no faith. So now my question is, did the challenge come to just mess up the boat? Or did the challenge come to reveal their little faith? That's my question. Somebody drop that in the chat box and let me know. Did the challenge come to just mess up the business, or did the challenge come to reveal the lack of faith? Did the challenge come to mess up the boat, or did the challenge come to reveal the lack of faith? I need to know. There we go. Expose. And that's what they're for. See, it's not just this person. It's not just the back. It's not just the business. It's not just the markets. There's something that we got to get better at too, right? So I assess the challenge. I decide what area I'm going to get better in, what area am I going to change and improve in. And then I got to lead while I bleed. Woo, that's so good. I got to lead while I bleed. See, and that's what Michael Jordan had to do. See, he wasn't necessarily bleeding, but he had a situation that was hampering him, and he was still able to lead the team. And he wasn't, again, wearing the problem of the stomach virus, the stomach flu, the bug. He wasn't wearing that. He was wearing the promise of where he wanted to go. He wasn't wearing the challenge. He didn't look like the challenge. When the game was finished, the coach said, I must be the last person to know that he just played the whole game sick because I could not tell. And that's what people are going to say about you. They're going to say, dang, I didn't even know. I didn't even know their car had got repossessed. I didn't even know that they were late on rent month to month to month. I didn't even know that when they found out they was having a baby, their lights were turned out. I didn't even know that they were going through all that. I didn't know. I didn't even know that they were sleeping in their car. Because you're not going to look like what you've been through. You're not going to look like what you've been through. You got to lead while you bleed. Other people, other organizations, nobody should know what you're going through but you. Because if you talk about it while you're going through it, it's called complaining. But if you talk about it after you get through it, it's called a testimony. If I talk about the challenge while I'm going through it, nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants that energy. Nobody wants to hear you talk about how you're late on rent, how your car just got repossessed. Nobody, and that's what I realized that. I realized, see, I'm talking about me. I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm talking about me. See, when our lights were turned out, our car got repossessed. We were late on rent like 5 months in a row. My leaders didn't want to hear that. My mom, I didn't want to tell my mom that. It didn't matter because I was focused on the vision. I knew where I was going. And I knew that the challenge only came to dispute my truth. The question is, how much do you believe in your truth? That's the question. How much do you believe in your truth? Because I was believing in my truth to a point where the challenges that came to dispute my truth and the validity, how valid my truth was, none of that didn't matter. It didn't matter. I still had to lead while I was bleeding. I still had to show the plan. I still had to get out there and do events. I still had to travel. I still had to keep doing what it was that I wanted my organization to do. Because if I would have stopped, if I would have took my foot off the gas, Gio could have looked at me and said, all right, Cool Jones pulling back. It's time for me to pull back too. You know what Clifford Ebony could have said? Cool Jones. Man, he ain't showed the plan about 3 weeks. Must be time to go do something else. So I had to keep leading while I was bleeding. I had to keep doing what I was doing before the challenge came. Because here's the deal. If you're going through a challenge and you stop doing what you were doing before the challenge came, when you start back to do what you were doing, you're going to have to start all the way over. Think about that. When you're going through something, you're going through a challenge, you're going through some type of something, and you allow that to stop you from doing what you were supposed to be doing. You allow what's happening at work to stop you from building a business. You allow what's happening in your relationship to stop you from trading. You allow what's happening, external forces, to stop you to dispute the truth. And every time you do that, as soon as you decide to start back, a lot of times the challenge is still going to be there. Steve Harvey said, when you're going through hell, don't stop. Because if you stop, you're still going to be in hell. You're still going to be in hell. So you have to keep leading in the midst of you bleeding. And also what you got to do is find ways to give. When you're going through a challenge, find a way to give to other people. Whether it's giving to the homeless outside, giving more value to your organization, giving value to other people's organization, find ways to give. I will never forget my battle in February of 2018. I'm trying to hit chairman. I'm on a 2-week battle going back and forth. The numbers going up, the numbers going down for like 2 weeks straight. I'm thinking like, yo, when is this chairman rank when is this gonna be done? Like, I know it's done, but these numbers keep going back and forth, right? And I spoke to my mentor, Chad. I'm telling him what's going on. I said, Chad, bro, I keep putting in people keep leaving the business. Bro, I don't know what to do, bro. I'm 5 months and I'm about to hit chairman, bro, but now all this stuff want to happen. All these challenges want to show up. And he told me something that has stuck with me till this day. And he told me the same thing I just told you. He said, find ways to give. He said, right now, your challenge is so big because you're only looking at the challenge. But when you take your eyes away from this particular challenge and put it on somebody else and what they're going through, your challenge seems very minuscule. Your challenge seems very small. But people are so selfish. We're selfish by nature, and we think that it's all about us. And it's really not, right? Because if Q Money has a challenge, and Q Money is only talking about her challenge, and this is all that she's thinking about, that means Q Money can't put the focus on somebody else to help them with their challenge. But as soon as Q Money takes the focus off of Q Money and puts it on Danielle, then Q Money's challenge seems very small because now she realizes that I'm not the only one that's going through something. I'm not the only one that's battling this business. I'm not the only one that's having a hard time trading. But I'm still going to find ways to give, whatever that level of giving may be. A lot of times we say give, we think we're talking about money. It's not necessarily money. It's not money at all. And if money is the only thing you have to give, you're very poor, right? So you want to have ways that you can go out your way to give to people, give value. The most important thing that you can give somebody is love. That's the most important thing that you can give somebody when you're going through your challenges. When we were going through our challenges, that's all I had to give was love. I had no money to give. I had to give love. I had to give value. Because all of that stuff, value, love, giving faith to people through you talking about it all the time, that stuff is way more powerful than money. Because the money's just going to get spent. But the message that you give them, that message, it stays forever. They never forget the message. People will forget what you said to them. People will forget what you did to them. But people will never forget how you make them feel. And as a leader in training, you got to understand the importance of that. You have to find ways to give value, give love, give time, give your service, give attention. When you're going through your own BS, take the focus off you and give everything that you want to somebody else. If you want more love in your life, give love to people. If you want more value in your life, give more value to people. If you want more time, give more of your time to other people. You only get to keep what you give. You only get to keep what you give. Only. So good. I'm glad this story just popped in my mouth. Thank you, God. There's a story about a man. And this man was, he was into like deep sea fishing and things of that sort. And so this man, he ends up going out to fish or whatever he was doing. Anyway, make a long story short, he ended up catching about 141 lobsters. He caught 141 lobsters. He's taking these lobsters home. He's like, yo, I got a lot of food. Like, this is lit. Like, man. So like a couple of days go by and he says, you know what? I need to just give some of this away because I'm not about to eat all of these lobsters. So he began to give all the lobster away. He gave away enough lobster where he only had 3 lobsters left, right? Couple days later, he goes into the freezer where the lobsters were because he noticed a smell. He gets to the freezer, open up the freezer, and what he noticed was that somehow his deep freezer had went bad. And so the lobster in the deep freezer went bad as well. And what he told himself was that, man, I'm so grateful that I gave all of the other lobster away and only 3 went bad. Because if he would have kept every single thing for himself, everything would have went bad. What's my point? The seeds that you sow will never, ever go away. But whatever you keep in your hand has the chance to leave you. That gentleman gave 38 lobster away. A week later, the 3 lobster that he kept in his deep freezer, they went bad. If he would have kept all the lobster, every single one of them would have went bad. Your seed will never leave you, and your seed will always produce after its own kind. So when you produce a seed of love, there's another seed of love coming right back to you. When you produce a seed of a happiness in somebody else's life, there's somebody on the way to produce happiness in your life. Man, and last but not least, family, it's 10:59. Last but not least, when there's challenges coming in your life, in whatever area of your life, this is the most important one. If you haven't listened to anything I've said, this is the most important one. When there are challenges of any kind coming in your life, get excited. You got to get excited, man. There's a reason why the challenges are coming. A robber, he never goes to break into a house that doesn't have anything in it. That doesn't even make any sense. Why would a thief go break into a house that doesn't have anything in it? Why would a thief break into a bank if he knows that the bank doesn't have any money? So challenges only come because you carry something. That's the only reason challenges come, because you carry something. But for what you carry to manifest in not just your life, but the lives of other people, you have to be challenged. You have to be tested. You have to be. So that's why you have to get excited about the challenge. Get excited when something goes on. There was something that just happened in my business recently, dealing with something. And listen, I got so excited. I was so happy because I said, this challenge just showed up right now in the midst of all these people hitting ranks. That means there must be something big on the way. That's all it meant for Cool Jones. That's all it meant for me. Now, when you have a challenge, I don't know how you receive it, but me and the way that my faith is set up, when I have a challenge, I know that there's something that's coming on the outside of it. There has to be. Why else would a challenge come? Because remember, challenges don't come, or a robber, a thief doesn't come to a home that doesn't have anything in it. A lot of us on the line, we saw money heists. Professor was not going to rob a bank that didn't have any money in it. Matter of fact, he went to the best bank in Spain with the most money and the most gold. That's what he did. He went to the best bank he could find. So when a challenge comes to you, it's because you carry something. But what you carry, it won't come out until your faith has gotten to a level where even you start believing it. When you start looking at challenges and getting excited and laughing, and you never quit, because the winner on the inside of you wants to win so bad that it doesn't allow the quitter on the inside of you to quit. Because everybody has a winner and a quitter on the inside of them. Everybody. Everybody. But the ones who really attain success at the highest level, they are the ones who want to win at life, the game, the business so bad, where they do not allow the quitter in them to quit because they want to win so bad. The winning in them overshadows the loser in them. Everybody has one. Everybody has one. So you got to get excited, right? It even says in the good book, and that's why I'm so glad this last point, because this should make sense to you, because I'm just not telling you to get excited because I think it's a cool thing to get excited. I'm telling you to get excited because it says, dear brothers and sisters, when trouble of any kind, when challenges of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow. Because I always say it's not about how big your faith is. It's about how long your faith can endure. That's what challenges are for, right? So your faith has a chance to grow. So let it grow. And when your faith is fully developed, you'll be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Man, that's James chapter 1, verse 2. Pass the offering bucket through the chat box, right? So here's the deal. You got to assess the challenge firstly. That's the most important thing. You got to assess the challenge and say, man, what can I learn from this? How can I get better from this? What can I take away from this? Yeah, that person over there, that may be a butthole. They may be an a-hole, but what can I take away from this? Right? Because it happened to you for a reason. So there's something that you need to see about you in the midst of this situation. Decide what area of your life that you're going to change in, because that's what a challenge does. It forces you to change in some area. And then you got to lead while you bleed. Even though you're going through some BS, you still have to lead. You still got to show up. You still have to put the work in. You still got to go out there and play and put up 38 points. And then overall turn around and win the championship. You got to find ways to give, man. You got to give love. You got to give value. Give your time. Give your attention. Call your organization more. Even though you're going through your BS, call your organization more, because they may be going through the same thing. And them just hearing your voice, that may make something change in them. Right? So find ways to give. And then lastly, guys, get excited. When challenges come, get excited. Especially when challenges come in the midst of this supernatural wave that we're on right now. You should laugh at challenges right now. Like when the challenge come right now, you should just laugh like, yo, exit aisle 6. That's how you should be. That's where you have to be at with it. Like, bro, bounce. And you focus on the future. I'm telling you, you got to use every single challenge as an opportunity to get better. You have to. Because listen, they're going to come. Your business may be cool right now, but at some point, there's going to be a challenge. Your trading account may be cool right now, but at some point, there's going to be a challenge. You may be going through a challenge right now. You now know how to get through it. You now know how to overcome it. And a person, guess what? That just came out of one, another one is coming. And that should get you excited. Because if challenges stop coming, that means you have no room for growth. Because you don't know how much personal self-development you got until a challenge come anyway. You don't know how much faith you got until a challenge come anyway. You don't know how much patience you have until a challenge comes anyway. You don't know if you really live in a state of gratitude until a challenge comes. So challenges come to test everything that we talk about. They come to test your faith. Does this person really got faith? Let me see. Let me send a flat tire to them and see how they respond. Does this person really got faith? Let me make USD JPY tank 30 pips in there for a buy. Let me see if they really got faith. They said they got faith. Let me see what happens if I have somebody quit their organization and take 20 people with them. Let me see if they really have faith then. Let me see if they really have faith when they get close to a rank and I take them back by 5 people. And then I bring them up by 1 person. And I take them back another 7 people. And I keep this cycle up for a month. Let me see if they really have faith. Let me see if they really have gratitude. Let me send something to their way. And let me see if they still can find thanks in the midst of the challenge, in the midst of the negativity. Let me see if they really have patience. Because patience is just not about me waiting. Patience is about my attitude and my servitude while I wait. So if they really have patience, I'm going to make them wait. And I'm going to see if they can still serve. I'm going to see if they can still give. I'm going to see if they can still provide value to people that they don't even know. Let me see if they can do that. Because they really got patience, they'll do that. I'm telling you, man, challenges, get excited when you have challenges. Love the challenge. Love it. Fall in love with challenges coming your way. Because the book said, consider it an opportunity for great joy. Opportunities come and go. They always come, they always go. So the next time you have a challenge, get excited. The next time you get a flat tire, something happens in your life, get excited because there's something better on the other side. For Michael Jordan, it was 6 championships. What will it be for you? So with that being said, I love you all. Let's have an amazing week. I will see you at the Beaches and the Bank. Opportunity calls happening tomorrow at 7 and 9 o'clock on this link. I love you all. Let's have a great week. God bless.